Welcome to the Waiver Wire. Waiver Wire. Waiver Wire. Waiver Wire. Waiver Wire. What up? Welcome to the Waiver Wire, where fantasy players become fantasy legends. We are back, baby. We had a little. No, I mean, I think that the true loyal fans, they're hurting, and I know that DraftKings has been calling.
I'm sorry, it's my fault.
No, we live lives outside of this, and we do care. I think the thing is too that both of us think about this podcast that, I mean, football is king. Football is,
well, it's called the Waiver Wire,
right? Exactly, and we want to talk about other random things, and we want to get crazy and do whatever. But truthfully, like when we talk about sports, and when me and you talk about sports, like NFL is king. We'll talk about NBA stuff, and we'll talk about baseball, and we'll talk about MMA, and trying to talk about hockey. I'm going to next year, but
soccer,
NFL,
we talk about soccer,
football,
anywhere that's not the United States.
No, we don't. This is not a soccer podcast.
We don't talk about that.
Fuck soccer. Fucking soccer.
I was watching soccer last night.
Actually,
MLS is getting better. Like, it's
sorry.
It was watchable.
I doubt it.
Dude, I used to try to watch MLS and it sucked.
I'll tell you what I found out too about.
And now it's not that bad.
That some of the Hispanic gentlemen at work told me about soccer. I was like, so are y'all calling plays? Like, are there plays being called in soccer?
Kinda.
And that's exactly what they said. They were like, not really. I was like, this game is a fucking joke.
Well,
this game
it's a fluid. It's fluid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why nothing
But that's
works.
the beauty of it.
That's why you only score once or twice.
Bro, that's kind of why the MLS is getting good. Like, those motherfuckers score.
Oh, good. Well,
nobody playing
I'm just
defense.
saying, then what is the coach doing? What is the coach doing in soccer if he's not calling plays?
The coach is, well, it's not that it's not plays, like you do have plays. You have a style of play.
A style.
You
play.
have a
Not
way that he wants you to play. He sets up the team the way he wants it.
No, I'm
you
saying,
have
like,
a way
you
of
go
attacking.
Here, you go here.
There's strategy.
We'll set up a
absolutely.
pick. Okay.
Dude, you can't pick.
Well, you can use somebody.
It's a foul. You can't.
You can use somebody's body to.
You can box out. You can. They do. Give and goes. You have long cross passes.
The NFL all the time.
You have a style of how you want to play. Some play out of the back. Some play these direct passes. And
first of all, I'm stopping this right here. We are not talking about soccer.
We got to talk about soccer.
Fuck that shit.
Soccer. He was interested in it until he realized.
I was not.
Until he realized what he was doing. Yes. He was like,
take it out. We're cutting all this.
Tell me more.
We're cutting all this out. Man, we haven't talked in so long. We haven't talked since we were going to talk about.
Golden State won, though.
No.
Right? Oh, it wasn't over yet?
No, it wasn't. I think it was like literally
almost over.
Yeah, we were.
Well, they won 3 in a row. It was done.
I had written on this board Golden State, and I had circled it, and it said Golden State in 6, and then it said Colorado versus Tampa Bay, and it said Colorado was up 2-0. So that's how long ago this was. But yeah, Colorado has gone on to win the Stanley Cup. Golden State has long won.
They did it very decisively as far as wins, but those games were good. Especially there was 2 blowouts, and then I think all the other ones were like 1 goal. Like Tampa Bay played hard, but Colorado was really good.
There was one where a Tampa Bay dude got laid the fuck out, like knocked out on the ice.
I don't remember that.
Oh my god, it was amazing. Maybe I'm misremembering, and it was the other way around. There was a hit in one of these games. I don't know by who, and I don't know what the teams, like which team got knocked out.
Wow.
But there was a dude that got, and what's hilarious is all the other guys like pretty much treated it like it was nothing. They tried to fight the guy that hit the guy, and then they just like went back to playing.
I think I do remember that.
That's like the greatest hit in NFL history, and it happened just now in the Stanley Cup in the middle of the game, and they just went on about their business. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
It was a good series. I enjoyed it.
I was enjoying it. I'm here for you
Golden
next year.
State, yeah. So Boston was up 2-1, and then Golden State 3 in a row.
Jason Tatum had a really bad finals. It's historically pretty bad.
But dude, they got fucking Brogdon.
Yeah, I know. That was one of the ones that I put a star next to.
They were like somebody, some of the like. I think it was
nothing.
Big Perk. Big Perk was all like poo poo in it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Nah, it's a big pickup. Malcolm Brogdon is pretty good.
Now Jaylen Brown and fucking Tatum don't have to handle the ball in those situations, and
Marcus Smart is an offensive liability. I get what he is on.
Well, they're talking about playing. Him not having to handle the ball helps him on defense, which is what they want.
What did he do on defense? In this series.
He was the defensive player of the year.
In this series, in the NBA Championship series.
I actually, you know how many games I watched? 0.
Really? Well, Steph was amazing. And he didn't stop him. Marcus Smart, what are you going to do to him? You can't do anything to the fuck. When the guy's hitting it from half court and he's hitting it and walking away and knows that it goes. I mean, Steph was in his like God mode thing on the game 6.
Steph had something to prove too. Yeah. Like everybody was talking shit about him. It seemed.
And we'll. We can talk about it. I put my what is that top 35? I just started rambling off and I was just trying to
top 35 NBA
players of all time. It is obviously my list. It is very subjective. It is very difficult, I think, to do this kind of list because you're comparing big men to guards. You're comparing, even LeBron to Michael Jordan. Those are different positions. They're not doing the same thing. Right. So, but I will always make my case for LeBron being number one. But as you can see there, Steph Curry, I think, launched himself up into that echelon, in my opinion. First of all, he's already the greatest shooter of all time.
Right.
Already.
And in a game that's built around shooting the ball.
How terrifying is this? They showed this stat in the finals. He could miss 9,000 threes in a row. He would still have one of the highest percentages of three-point shooting of all time. Still. He's 46% from the 3-point line.
In his career?
In his career.
And he's hit the most.
And he's hit the most. And he's shot the most. Yeah. It's unbelievable stats. Like, when you think about, and like to think about on the flip side of like his Trae Young. Trae Young is like 32%. Luka is like 32%. Like, most people are in the 30% range. Ray Allen is like 38%. Like, to be 46% and to shoot as much as this fucking guy has, that's fucking unreal. It has changed the game.
Only the best shooter. He is by far the best shooter.
He could retire right now, and honestly, I don't. Who catches this? Yeah. It has to be a kid that hasn't come into the NBA yet, because there's no one in the NBA that is close to his level that has hit 3-pointers on the level that he has. And even all those guys that I just named, Trae Young, Luka, you could throw Ja in there, or any of these young players. That's not primarily what they do. It's not like those three. Like, Trae Young is kind of maybe the
Trae Young will be the closest to it, yeah.
But even
because they play the same position.
But he's played for the last 3 years, and in Steph's 3 years, he hit a huge amount of threes. It did take. That's not true. It took Steph time. It took Steph time to turn into who he is now.
Steph had a hard time adjusting to the NBA because he kept hurting himself.
Right, his body, his ankles.
He had to figure out how to play and
he had
stay
to bulk
on
up
the
too.
court.
And Trae Young is probably going to experience that same thing. We'll hit a window here in a little bit with Trae Young, whereas if he doesn't gain weight and he doesn't get bigger, then he's little Isaiah Thomas, where it's you can be amazing and explosive for a couple of years, but your body is not going to be able to sustain
he
this.
He kind of fell off quick.
Oh,
too.
yeah. The other Isaiah Thomas, I see Isaiah Thomas there, so I just want to make sure that I'm not talking about the Detroit Piston Isaiah Thomas. That Isaiah Thomas to me is a all-time great, and I actually have him number 11 all-time, which is probably a lot higher than other people have him. But when I would go back and watch, Isaiah Thomas played in a time where dribbling and the way that they kind of moved the ball was not as quick as Isaiah Thomas was. That's what always impressed me about Isaiah Thomas. You'd see these other guys dribbling the ball against him, and they're real slow and methodical, and he was getting real low, and he was dribbling quickly, and he was going in circles around you, and he was running this way and then cutting back this way, and it was like, what the
Isaiah
fuck,
Thomas.
man? Yeah, of course, everyone did. He was tough as shit too. He couldn't do anything. That one game where his ankle was swole up up to a fucking softball and he was still limping around and running on it and still scored like 40 points.
He was also on the last college team to go undefeated and win the whole thing, right?
Wow, okay. Yeah, so LeBron, I will always put as number 1. Michael Jordan, I have as number 2. I get it. I know. We can talk about that at another time. This is about Steph Curry. Number 3 is Magic Johnson. I really believe that if he had not... In the 12 seasons that he played, he went to 9 finals.
Oh, shit.
And he won 5 of them.
Oh, shit.
Come on.
I know that.
Come on. I mean,
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And what? Like, his last season was against the Bulls, where it was Jordan's first year to win, and he lost. But are you telling me that Magic's not going back to the finals again after that?
Yeah.
That he's not, that the Lakers aren't going to retool and figure it out, and that
he probably could have made it to a few more.
And also, Magic Johnson was not a player that was explosive, or he was just a fluid. He could have done what he did into his. I mean, he could have done it to his late 30s. I truly believe that. There weren't injuries that were stacking up on Magic. There weren't things that he wasn't up above the rim dunking on people. You know, he was a mid-range shooter that was just really, really
weird,
good.
Though. The longevity seemed they're taking care of their bodies more now and better, and the medicine's just so much better. Yeah, like so. It just seemed like, other than Kareem though, I guess there were those guys that
Karl Malone, and that's why those 3 guys are where they are on the point total. Because if you go and you look at LeBron, Kareem, and Karl Malone's, I told you I looked it up.
That's right, we did.
The seasons is unbelievable. It's like Karl Malone,
and
holy
Malone
shit,
fell off like
at the
real
end.
hard,
but for most of his career, it was like 82, 82, 82, 81, 82, 82, 82. It was like holy shit. Kareem too. Like they didn't miss games.
They just didn't get hurt. Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it. The taking care of their bodies or mentally where they're at. Listen, that is one of my things about Michael Jordan. The going away to play baseball and then quitting again because Phil Jackson's not there. And that whole mentality of like the diva, like I need this and I need this and I've given so much to the game and I can't like... Bro, the 3 guys that we named, LeBron, Kareem, and Karl Malone, that never crossed their mind.
Yeah.
It never came across their mind that they were like, I should walk away from the game. They're like, I'm going to do this as long as I can.
How many of them had their fathers murdered?
Well, LeBron doesn't need to worry about that because he doesn't know his dad.
Right.
Literally never had a dad.
Sure.
And raised himself basically with a mom who was 16 when she fucking had him. Okay. And he has grown to be one of the most successful, entrepreneurial, business savvy fucking guys.
Well, and he owes some of that to Michael Jordan.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I listen. What's funny is that people, when I do this about Michael Jordan, it's like they act like that I'm putting him down at like 7 or 8. He's obviously 2.
I know.
He's obviously 2, but I look
Actually, I never even thought about that particular viewpoint as far as like, okay, he did this
shit by himself, bro.
He quit.
He did this shit by himself. And from the time he was 16 till now, we've known who he was.
Yeah.
And he's been in the public limelight.
And that's what's
he's been the man that has had all the pressure on him.
Right.
Jordan,
and I think that I've said on the show before that to me is the most impressive thing about LeBron James is that he lived, not only did he live up to the hype, he surpassed it.
Well,
in my opinion.
We can kind of transition over to this later, but do the Kevin Durant Warrior years, do those 2 championships count in your eyes?
I mean, they count.
As a basketball
Would they have
fan,
won them without him? Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Healthy Kyrie and healthy Kevin Love.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Especially if you go back and you look at the finals of both of those that I'm talking about, the 2 years with the Golden State Warriors.
Probably not. I mean, would they even have made the finals? I mean, you could have. You could look at that
and
all
you
kinds
watch
of different ways.
how well LeBron played in those 2 finals. He was out of his mind. He was all-time great. He was leading in every single statistical category, including on defense. But it didn't fucking matter because and I've said this again and again. I mean, we did the all-time great teams, and I've even said nobody beats that Kevin Durant Warriors team because when 3 guys, look, I'll explain it like this. Jordan is on, let's say, Klay Thompson. Scotty gets Kevin Durant. Who who I've left out here? Who's guarding Steph? And the three of them would just rotate around, and they just would run around until one of them got open, and then they would shoot a three, and it was daggers. You have three guys that can do 30-plus points. If you have three guys that can go nuclear, you're going to win every time.
Unless you can put Jordan on Curry, Scotty on Thompson, and...
so Kevin Durant's just running free?
Now he's going to have fucking Dennis Rodman on.
Dennis Rodman and Draymond Green got to cancel each other out. That's the truth.
Yeah,
they're going to play each other.
You can put Horace. Did we have Horace Grant?
No, not
Horace
with Dennis
Grant was
Rodman.
gone. Yeah,
Horace Grant was the first go around. So if you want to say the first go around,
well, you can't put Horace on fucking
exactly. You've got even
KD.
worse matchups there.
I'd prefer the last three with Rodman.
I hate to say it because I hate the fact that he went and did it, but the Kevin Durant and Steph Curry being in their prime MVPs, we've never seen it before. Even Kobe and Shaq, those weren't MVPs in their prime. Kobe was getting to his prime, and then Shaq left. And the Shaq Kobe Lakers are one of the most dominant teams ever too. Yeah. So I'm just saying that Golden State team with Kevin Durant, it wasn't fair, and in my eyes, they stole 2 rings from my guy. My guy should have won 2 more times at least that they stole from him, which puts him at 6 rings. So I don't want to hear the ring conversation when Michael Jordan's playing against white guys named Jeff Hornacek and John Stockton. John Stockton looks like a fucking... If you saw John Stockton on the street, you would not be like, oh. And I'm not saying John Stockton ever cost anybody a game or that he was not a good player.
He's on your list.
He is. He's number 26.
See the highest white... Oh, no. Larry Bird's probably up there.
Yeah, Larry Bird's 8. Larry Bird's 8. But I'm just saying, I that's one of my arguments, too, is that it's like, oh, he won 6 rings. It's like, listen, my guy LeBron faced a Monstar team that was designed to beat him. Yeah. They were afraid of him. They were like, shit. We were just a 73 team winning team. We had just been up 3-1 on him. Draymond decides to hit him in the nuts, and it totally flipped the momentum, and he fucking beat us. We can't beat this guy by ourselves. Please, Kevin, please. Anyways, number 3, Magic Johnson.
I think it was the other way around. I think Kevin was like, hey, guys, can I come?
Either way,
can I join?
They both did that.
I bet you if I come over there, I can win some rings.
Man, but how bad does Kevin Durant look now, though? How bad does he look now? But I put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar number 4, and then the next one, no one has him in a top 10. If you watch any of the talking heads, none of them put this guy in. They put Wilt Chamberlain up here. They put Bill Russell up here. I'm not putting 2 guys that were the only black guys at the time, the only 7-foot black guys playing against 8 other teams when there were 60,000 people on the planet Earth. Shut the fuck up. I'm not fucking listening to it. But Hakeem Olajuwon was an all-time fucking great. Hakeem, I know I'm biased. I know that
you're biased.
I know I'm Houston biased.
Disagreeing with you. He was
Hakeem
awesome.
Olajuwon. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal said he's the only one to ever give him the business.
I'd put Shaquille over him.
Hakeem,
probably.
I get it, and I am
over him.
obviously Houston biased by putting him number 5 all time. But to me,
be.
but he is number 5 all time because
somebody's got to do it.
Kareem and Hakeem. I'm pretty sure I could take them into any time. The way they played, which was just back you down, hit you with quick moves, and they were good shooters. They were good unorthodox shooters. They were good, getting to the rim and getting a crafty little layup or just dunking it on you because they are bigger than you. And obviously, I'm not discrediting Shaq. I think Shaq, when he was in his prime, when he was in his best healthiest shape, he's the most unstoppable basketball player we've ever seen.
Yeah.
If he had maintained that, if he had not ever gotten out of shape and had always been at prime where they three-peated and he was fucking ripped, catching alley-oops and looking at his hand and shit, if he had stayed at that, he's the best player of all time. You can't even dispute it. If he had been able to figure it out with Kobe, how many championships did they win?
Yeah.
You know, if they wouldn't have been. If they worked this out, and they don't. You know, they're like, all right, yeah, they stayed.
Oh, yeah. They would have won.
They had at least won 6.
Well, they at least won 2 more because Kobe won 2 more.
Shaq won another one. Shaq won one with Dwayne
Wade.
Right. So
that's right. They probably would have won fucking 3 more at least.
Then I put Kobe. As 7.
To me, when Shaq developed that little 12-foot baseline jumper. That's when he became
untouchable.
Just untouchable. Because if you got anywhere close to him, he'd just fuck you up. And if you didn't get close to him, he'd knock that down.
And it's true. You look at his free throw shooting in the fourth quarter, it's like 70 to 80%.
Oh, it's better than the rest.
Because when he was like, when it mattered, when you put me into fourth quarter, like I know the game's on the line. And a lot of the hack-a-shack used to go away in the fourth quarter because people like Popovich, they knew like, all right, now he's going to start hitting these free throws. We foul him early when we don't have him just dominating us. We'll take 1 point instead of 2. But, yeah. And then I put Kobe as 7. I know some people will have Kobe higher than that. I think that minus Hakeem, I'm putting Hakeem in there because I am biased, but I think this little top group, I think most people are pretty consistent with this top little group. Some of them will put Kobe ahead of Magic. Some of them won't put Magic as high. They won't put Kareem as high. They, for whatever reason, will put Wilt Chamberlain in this conversation. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. Do you know what would happen to Wilt Chamberlain today? First of all, Wilt Chamberlain today, no shot. And I mean, literally, he can't shoot. What's he going to do in today's NBA? What is he going to do? He's going to be like,
so he'd be like, who's another
Rudy
big man?
Gobert.
Yeah, Rudy, that was kind of the first guy that came to mind.
Which, good for you, Minnesota. I don't really know.
I don't get that.
I don't know what the plan is here with Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert together, but maybe you're trying to take the load off of Karl Anthony Towns playing center, and you want him to you want Gobert to focus on defense and Karl Anthony Towns to focus on offense, but you're not winning a championship.
It's gotta be
it. Not winning a championship. You're not coming out of the West with that.
I just don't know that. I wonder, do they see that as like they have a big 3 now? Like, is he there?
Well, Anthony Edwards and D'Angelo Russell are very good.
They are very good.
And so I think their hope is that those two kind of grow into the superstars that they can be as far as guards. And then maybe these 2 big guys will just be kind of our pillars.
Because Gobert is a fucking hell of a fucking shot blocker. And people ain't driving to the rim when he's in there. And maybe it frees up Anthony Towns to do other shit. And be more offensive.
I don't know. I just don't. He's an offensive liability.
I just don't want Rudy Gobert on my team.
No, I don't either. And I agree with Shaq.
At least not to be like one of my main.
Shaq would have cooked him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's still, the Gobert thing is still going back and forth with that.
So do you want to transit? Are you done talking about your list?
I guess, okay, I'm taking a long time to get through this, but then Larry Bird 8, and then Steph Curry. I put Steph Curry at 9, and I put Tim Duncan at 10. I won't go through the rest of it, but I just think that Steph Curry, with the 4 championships now, being the greatest shooter of all time, it was hard for me to put him ahead of Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan had a hell of a career. But then just like Isaiah Thomas and Karl Malone are right behind that. And Karl Malone never won, so you're not going to say Steph is not better than Karl Malone.
Right.
Isaiah Thomas only won twice, right? Twice, so
yeah.
you can't really put Isaiah ahead of him. And some of the other ones, I know people will put Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell up there, but I'm not going to do that.
And your argument for those guys is legit. It's way too long ago.
Yeah,
I mean, like, what's the oldest guy that you have high? Probably Kareem.
Yeah. But Kareem extended over 2 different eras, generations, like
and Moses Malone.
Moses. I guess Moses is older.
He played,
but
he played,
age, isn't he? He played with Hakeem. His last couple of years were with Hakeem, and he was there from 2 different generations too. I would say Oscar Robertson. That's 29. That's also a lot older, but I have to give props to what he was. I don't think Julius Erving is on there. That might not be accurate.
Got Dr. J on there?
Yeah, that might be fucked up. I might have forgotten him.
He was probably pretty...
Yeah, he probably needs to push a couple of these guys down. But, anyways. Some of the other basketball moves, we'll get into the big one, but I'll just say the people that re-signed. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Karl Anthony Towns, Zion got paid. Darius Garland, Zach LaVine, Jokic, Ja Morant. They all re-signed really, really big deals. They all got paid. Rudy Gobert, we just mentioned, got traded to Minnesota. Malcolm Brogdon went to the Celtics. I think that's a really big pickup. John Wall, after 3 years of making $40 million a year, just eating for doing nothing. He signed a low level. I think he signed like a $6 million deal with the Clippers.
Right?
I don't know what John Wall's got left, but that was really funny to me. They was like, "Oh look, John Wall! Holy shit!" I liked John Wall when he was good. You know,
I waited on him one time, and
he's another one too. He didn't adapt his body to what the NBA was.
Yeah, he's always getting hurt.
He didn't try to gain weight. He didn't try to gain muscle mass. He didn't try to make his body.
His style of play too. I mean,
he was explosive. And that it doesn't last. At least what you can say for Russell Westbrook is that he did kind of change his body. He could have gone the Derrick Rose route. Russell Westbrook could have, where he was super explosive and he was getting hurt, but he kind of took care of his body, and he's a little bit bigger now. His body type's a little bit bigger. PJ Tucker went to the 76ers. That's interesting, especially we'll see what the rest... one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life is that James Harden did something that was unselfish.
And is he going to take less money?
Yeah.
To stay in Philly?
To stay in Philly.
Because I know that he declined his player option.
So that he could go back to Philly for less money so they could get another piece.
So he actually wants to win?
I didn't know this about James Harden. I wasn't aware that he felt that way. I know,
keep going back and forth on this motherfucker.
No, I'm still out, and you're not winning anyways.
Well, so what that means to me then is that maybe he'll get in shape and actually want to fucking... Because when he wants to fucking get in shape and play, he's really good.
But there's no free agents. So what are you doing this for? You're not... I mean, and... If you're talking, here's the thing about the trade. Well, okay, to finish it off,
we got PJ Tucker.
Jalen Brunson went to the Knicks. That's a nothing move, but he did get paid.
He got paid.
Malik Monk, who was one of the better Lakers that was on that team, went to the Kings, so he also got paid. And I think that really sucks for the Lakers though, because he was one of the young players that actually played really well for him. But going to KD and Kyrie, so let's play out the timeline. So Kyrie opts back in.
Right.
Well, first off, KD earlier in the week, before Kyrie opts back in, says on a podcast, he says, "Don't listen to any of that shit. It's not true. It's all chit chat. I'm here. I'm ready to play for Brooklyn." It's literally what he says the week before this happens. So he says that on a podcast. Kyrie opts back in, puts a thing on his Instagram where he basically says the same thing, like, "Don't listen to all the noise. I'm here. Let's go get it." And then the next day, after Kyrie opts in, KD requests a trade and blows this fucking thing up, bro.
Like, I knew he requested a trade. I didn't realize that timeline or that he had said that.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what went down in between this time. Maybe it's something between KD and Kyrie. Maybe it's something between the front office and KD. Whatever it is,
he signed a 4-year.
KD, you're mentally one of the weakest people I've ever seen in my entire life.
But the weird thing is that everybody wants him, though.
I don't.
Huh?
I don't. And let me tell you this. The rumor is...
You're talking about go to New Orleans or something.
No, the rumor is KD and Kyrie want a package that will take them to LeBron. So you trade Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, and the rest of your fucking team, every pick that you got, and we'll give you KD and Kyrie to pair KD, Kyrie, and LeBron.
I'm down.
And as a LeBron fan, fuck no.
No?
Get this mentally weak little bitch away from me.
Well, they need LeBron. That's the thing.
They do need
Both
LeBron.
of them.
But I don't want this pussy to sully my man's legacy. And he would sully it. He would sully it. Because
do you think they would win?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. It would be...
I don't know.
Dude.
I want to see it.
The three of them?
I want to see it. Because the only reason they wouldn't is if they just couldn't fucking get along, you know? And I can see them not getting along.
They're shooters.
I want to see it.
Do the Golden State thing. Just the three of you just run around.
I want to see it. But they all have to they have to stay healthy and they have to fucking get along.
Well, first of all, we know that LeBron and Kyrie, it works.
Yeah.
They might not get along, but on the basketball court, it works.
But you can't just have those.
It's true.
You gotta fill.
You can't have those two. And I'll tell you this. I'll tell you why I don't want this. Because LeBron's GM. General managing is his weakest thing, and what he normally wants is old veterans to round out the rest of the team. He wants stars, and then he wants old veterans because he can get them on the cheap, and he thinks that they know what's up and that they. But my thing is that the young kids have caught up. The young talent in the NBA has caught up. The Jason Tatums, the John Morants, the Lukas, they're really fucking good. Joel Embiid, Jokic, they're
That's
really
why I'm
good.
thinking it'd be hard to
And
win.
they have teams around them.
Right.
Like the Celtics are a team. The Nuggets are a deep
what kind
team.
of
If
roster
Jamal
are you gonna
Murray's
have if you're paying LeBron,
exactly.
KD,
gonna
and Kyrie?
I still think they're a force to be reckoned with. I mean, you're going to get veterans coming out of the woodwork just
sure.
wanting to join this team because they're like, holy shit, I can win a championship. But I just don't like. I don't want it because I fucking hate Kevin Durant with all my heart. And the problem is the Nets know what's happened here. Their whole world has been blown up, bro. They had Spencer Dinwiddie, Caress LeVert, D'Angelo Russell, Jarrett Allen. Who else did they? I think Brogdon wasn't Brogdon originally on? No, that's not true. He was a Buck. He was originally a Buck.
Allen, the kid that's in Cleveland now?
Yeah, Jarrett Allen. They had a young core on that Nets
And they
team.
fucking blew that shit up for
blew it
KD.
up for KD, Kyrie, and James Harden. Now James Harden's gone. KD's
in? Oh no, Katie's out.
If I'm
Katie's out.
if I'm the Nets, I almost would just tell KD no.
You're like, you know what?
I'd be
Fuck
like,
off.
no, bro. No.
Play.
You signed a 4-year deal. If you don't like it, you can sit and you can waste 4 years of your career, but I'm not. We paid you a whole year to rehab your Achilles. We paid you to just sit at home and rehab because we trusted you to be in on our team. And now what? What's the problem? What have we not given you in this whole fucking thing? You wanted James Harden? We gave the fucking bank away. I'll tell you what it means for the Rockets, though. Because the Nets are going to suck.
Yeah.
And we get their pick.
Oh, yeah.
So, awesome. For the next 3 years, we get the Nets pick, and they're going to suck.
Are we. Maybe not. Well, maybe.
We didn't get to talk about the draft, did we?
Oh, no, we
We
didn't.
won the draft,
yeah.
bro.
I was so
we
happy.
fucking won
when they
the
took
draft.
Banchero first. I was like,
oh my god,
We get Jabari.
First
That's
of all,
who I
thought
wanted.
that's who we were gonna get was Paolo Banchero.
Me too.
And I was coming around to it. I was like,
I was
you know
okay
what?
with it,
It's
but I
okay.
wanted
Like
Smith.
he's he's the best player in the fucking.
That's-
He is hands down the best player in this draft to me.
It must have
His
been why
shooting
we
was
traded away Christian Kirk, or what's his name?
Well, we traded away Christian Wood because
Wood.
they like Seguin. They like Seguin, and they know that they wanted Seguin to be. And I agree with them. I almost feel like as maybe a more complete player, Seguin will become more of a complete player because offensively he got a lot better last year.
Okay, so they're just eliminating two
They
guys
know they're going to
playing
have
the
to
same
pay
position.
Christian Wood,
Gotcha.
and so they're like, we're not ready to get the contracts we're going to give away are Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, maybe Kevin Porter Jr. You know, dude, the steal was Ty Washington. Ty Washington is a electric shooting guard that was in Kentucky and was really good in the tournament. He was one of the only things that played well for Kentucky before they got bounced. I don't know why you dropped this far in the draft, but when I saw that we got Ty Washington, I was like, holy shit. And the Tari Eason guy, I had watched some of because he was projected to be maybe in the top 10 and he fell to us. And defensively, he's a monster and he's a good small forward, which is the last position that we kind of need to fill in. We have Jalen Green, who's our shooting guard. Now Jabari Smith is going to be our incredible power forward that can shoot. He's going to be our big that can shoot. And we are on the up and up. Give us 3 years.
That's what I'm saying.
I say 3 years. We're not going to be as bad as we were last year. That's
but we'll
what I'll
still be
say.
a lottery team.
Maybe. I think
In the
I think
West?
we fuck around. I think we fuck around and are a lot better. I think we're a lot better. I don't know what that means for the standings. You're probably right. If I had to bet, I would go with what you're saying, that we're a lottery team. But I'm being a homer, but I'm hopeful about the Houston Rockets.
Let's say they win twice as many games as they won last year. They're still not a fucking playoff.
They're still
team.
a lottery team, and I think winning twice as many games is totally plausible.
And I think going into the season, that would kind of be your goal. Hey, let's win twice as many games. We might not be a playoff team, but let's push some of these teams.
My
Let's make
opinion of the West.
No, they could make the play-in tournament.
Yeah, they could.
That's not hard.
And my opinion of the West has kind of last year. I thought they were the more dominant the whole year. I thought the Suns, I thought the Grizzlies, I thought the Mavericks at one point were super hot. I thought that those were the teams. Golden State did win the whole thing, and Golden State will be back there next year. But the rest of those teams, the Suns, the Grizzlies, the Jazz, the Nuggets, I think I'm maybe more afraid of Celtics, Heat, maybe even 76ers if they add another piece. Like I kind of am shifting to where I'm not as high on the West anymore.
Dallas is going to be up there
But
this year.
what is Dallas? Dallas, without Jalen Brunson now, you've lost. He was your second leading scorer. He was the entire year. He started for you the entire year. Now you've lost that. So now your Christian Wood and your Luka and Tim Hardaway Jr. will be back. But I don't know. You're kind of rolling out the same thing again. I don't know what changed really in the Mavericks. I don't know what's changed in the Nuggets. The Jazz are obviously worse now.
Well, the Nuggets, if they can get all their players,
if they've got other guys, I've got the Nuggets a lot higher.
If everybody's healthy.
If everybody's healthy, if Michael Porter plays and Jamal Murray plays, they're a very good team. The problem is Michael Porter does not play in the
Always
NBA.
hurt.
He's always hurt. And Jamal Murray has been hurt for a whole year, so I haven't seen it. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm kind of down on the West. Also, the Suns are apparently one of the places that KD wants to go. Yeah, listen to what this pussy said. His preferred locations are the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat, the number one seeds of last year. You know what? I don't really like being on a bad team. I prefer being on an all-star team full of winners that will just let me kind of win with them. Because I can't win by myself, but I'd love to take my pussy to South Beach. Like, that sounded bad because it sounded like I'm talking about my other man that doesn't have a pussy. He's got a big, hard, rock-hard black cock. But LeBron James, what LeBron James did was he completely rebuilt a team. And you know what he did? He did what the Brooklyn Nets were trying to do. He went to a place and they got rid of everybody. They got rid of all their young talent. They had nobody left but Mario fucking Chalmers and Udonis Haslem. And he said, okay, we'll take Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and we'll figure this out and we'll win a championship. And he went to finals after finals after finals. And he was KD with 2 seasons, because I won't count the first year. He's been there for 3 years, but the first year he was just rehabbing his Achilles. But for the 2 years that he's been there, he's won 1 playoff series, and he lost to the Bucks that eventually went to win the championship. And last year he got swept. So KD is not LeBron in any facet. You won't see him on my top 35. He ain't over there on that top 35. He ain't making a top 100 for me. Fuck Kevin Durant. But Kyrie apparently now. Why on God's green earth would the Nets do this? Why would they trade Russell Westbrook for Kyrie? Why?
I don't know.
What in what
you're taking
world
on
does that make sense? I guess because we're at worst case scenario. If you're the Nets GM, you're just like,
at
you're
least
drinking every
fucking
night.
Westbrook will give you 100%. He'll fucking play hard.
Yeah, but not well.
No, but at least
poorly.
he'll play hard. At least you can
Poorly.
count on that.
But Kyrie, in those games that I'm talking about where they got sweat, look, dude, game 4 where the Celtics ended up beating them, Kyrie he scored 18 points in the 4th quarter. He was unconscious. He's flicking off the fucking crowd and shit. But he was unbelievable. He's so good. Like, that's the problem with Kyrie. I get it. I know what you're saying. Mentally, the guy's not there. And mentally, I don't know if he's that good of a player because of what's going on up here. But
he's good
when he plays basketball.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you just don't ever know what you're gonna get with the motherfucker, man.
Well, yeah, true, but
he's won one.
He's won one.
Just the one.
Yeah, but if the one time that he did it, this is the guy, and he knows that. He said that on I Am Athlete. He said he made a mistake. He admitted it. He apologized to LeBron. He said, I called LeBron and apologized because I thought I needed to go and be the man, but I didn't realize that me and him could shine together. and we could just win championships and be great. And he was like, it's a Kobe Shaq moment where I thought I needed to get out from underneath his shadow, but I didn't realize that his shadow was a nice place to be. And he even mentioned, he said, I left, went to Boston. This motherfucker took Kevin Love and George Hill and J.R. Smith right back to the finals. He didn't miss a beat. He went right back to the finals. Then he went to L.A. where they were a terrible team. He took a year, got hurt, and then he went back and he won again. He won again. He's like, you can hate on him if you want, but when LeBron's on and he's got a good team around him, he's a problem. It's a problem. And I left that and I should have stayed. We could have won a lot of championships. So that podcast that he said all of that stuff on, which changed my tune about Kyrie. He came back. He kissed the ring. He said, I'm sorry. Now you're allowed in. I will accept you now as a human being. But before that, I would have said, no, I don't want Kyrie for all the things you're saying. You don't know what he's going to give you. You don't know how in on basketball. But him with LeBron?
If he's with LeBron. I said, I want to see it.
His big brother might be the only one to tell him, like, hey, no.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep. Stick the vaccine in your arm and let's fucking go. I don't know. That might be over anyways. I don't think that they're even going to make players do that
anymore. Like, it's gone, right?
How silly.
It's funny because one of my friends got COVID and I was like,
who cares?
I thought that was over. Like,
you know what's
I don't
funny?
Think you can get COVID anymore.
Is that there was a time where I was thought of as a crazy person for walking around. I was walking around your place of business, and I was telling people that wearing the mask was fucking stupid, and that this whole thing. Yeah, we both did, but I mean, and we both probably were called crazy. You were probably called crazy too. And here we are.
What do you do when you see someone wearing a mask now?
Oh, in their car. In their car.
I don't do anything outwardly, but I'm all every time
internally I'm like, pussy.
What are you doing?
This person's a pussy.
So I think some of it is it's ugly people. Ugly people that
fair.
Fair. I like the mask.
Yeah. Well, there's a guy that I work with that he's a server assistant. He's a busser, and he says that he wears it because he doesn't want to smile.
That's what Uche says,
and he doesn't want to like react to people, so he just like wears it so that he can like. I think some of the younger generation, they kind of just have gotten used to it,
and
they're like, "Oh,
it's
this
weird.
is cool. I'll just put it on." But yeah, it's so funny that we're just completely done with that now. Like I could give a fuck. Like a monkey pox. They tried to bring that to my door, and I said, "Get the fuck out!"
That.
Yeah, good for you. They tried to scare us with that too, and Texas said, "We don't give a fuck." Okay. Pox. Yeah, you can't just throw animals in front of something and be like, oh, this is the orangutan measles. Like, shut the fuck up. But yeah,
well, I mean, I had chicken pox, and it wasn't. I mean, yeah,
this is worse. This is a monkey.
Shit.
Yeah, you'll start swinging from the rafters and shit. Yeah, so. Well, I think we talked plenty about basketball, and which is over now, and there are some more. Like I said, there's really, other than KD and Kyrie, everybody pretty much re-signed, which I thought was, come on, Bradley Beal.
Yeah,
come on, Bradley Beal.
That was what I thought.
Come on, like, man.
What?
Don't want to win?
Talk about somebody don't want to win.
Yeah, you clearly don't want to win. Yeah, have fun on the Wizards, bro. What the fuck? Even kind of Zach LaVine, too. I kind of thought the same. I'm like, Zach LaVine, look, like, you've kind of had a meteoric, like, you've risen to a level that I don't think you thought you were going to get into. Now add that next level of being a champion and go join a team that can get you there.
But you know why, though?
Well, the money's big.
Well, it's because in the NBA, amongst their peers, the only thing they give a fuck about is their contract. And that's why LeBron doesn't take less money, which is really crazy that James Harden's doing it.
It is crazy. It is. It's one of the when they showed that he declined the option and said his plan is to go back to Philadelphia for less money so they can build the team.
Because it's like,
what?
How much do you need?
Well, he's made a boatload.
Yeah, I know.
So it makes sense.
Adidas gave him $200 million one time.
You know, he's got his restaurant here in Houston, and I'm sure he's done other things to try to invest his money. Yeah. But that's the thing about LeBron.
That's the weird thing.
That's the thing about
status.
LeBron. you don't need the money.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't.
You could make no money from basketball and you'd be fine. Like
if you just want to win championships,
just want to win.
Why I think that
take the pay cut
because you've taken care of them before, and it's just different. They live in a totally different world than us, and the thing that they care about is everybody else's opinion of them.
Think about this: the $50 million that Aaron Rodgers is going to get is going to be one of the highest. I think actually Deshaun's per year is more than that at this point. I don't know, but no, it's not per year. Per year, I think that's going to be the highest. It's $50 million a year, and that's the highest that we've ever seen. And he is one of the best, and so we kind of give it that caveat. We're like, okay, he deserves that. But then after that, like baseball players shit on all of it, but for basketball and football, for these guys that come from, let's face it, these African American guys that come from communities where they don't have a lot of money and they come from nothing, they see these contracts and they go, holy fucking shit. Like baseball shits on all of it, but you kind of have to be the tip of the spear. Like you kind of have to be the best of the best to make what we're talking about, like Mike Trout, fucking Juan Soto money. But still, I mean, when they see the money, I think maybe that is part of it, where they go like, shit, I got to take this. I got to just take it. But I just don't get it, because if you go and you like think about what Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins are going to get. I didn't realize they're both under contract and they're not going anywhere. But imagine what they're going to get after this.
Yeah.
They will. So they'll win. So maybe they win another championship.
Who was weird? Gary Payton, the second or the third?
Yeah.
He only got he signed for like $4 million or $6 million, some shit
a year.
Yeah,
but it was 18 total.
Oh, okay, 6.
And he's been a journeyman. I mean, I didn't realize he's not a rookie. This is like his 6th year in the league.
Oh, really?
And he's traveled from D League to D League trying to make it on teams. So
I thought he was good.
He is. He did really good for Golden State. Was kind of the perfect place for him because he didn't have to be an offensive juggernaut. Right. He didn't have to score 20 points a game, and he was able to show that. That's why they call him the Mitten, because a very demeaning nickname. I wouldn't want it.
He's got long arms. Like that's what I always it looked like.
This looks like a mitten to you, motherfucker. But yeah, I wouldn't want that as a nickname. But yeah.
Well, his dad's the
glove.
But
he went to the Blazers, and apparently the Blazers are trying. They're trying to show.
Is Damian ever coming back?
Yeah, I mean he'll be back next year, but I don't see it after trading C.J. McCollum. I feel like if you're Damian Lillard, you gotta be like, get me the fuck out of here, bro. Get me the fuck out of here. Now he got paid. And so
I guess somebody's just got to get paid and played on shitty teams.
I get it. A lot of them do.
Bradley Beal.
But then how do you get to where you're Golden State and you've just kept all this talent around? How does that work? How Golden State also,
because you're dealing with 3 dudes.
Whoever the GM of Golden State is, I don't know your name, but goddamn. Where's Jerry West went to the Clippers.
Jerry West was the Golden State.
Now he's with the Clippers. And Jerry West found all of the guys that we are talking. Clay,
even Jordan Poole.
No,
but he found
Draymond, Clay, and
Curry.
Yeah, he drafted those guys.
And those 3 guys are just, arguably one of the best, if not one of the best trios to ever play the game.
Yep.
And so keeping those 3 around,
I also love the shit talking. I love Clay's attitude and Draymond Green's attitude. I love it. I love the way that they did you see Klay Thompson right after the game talking about Jaren Jackson Jr.?
I remember
he was like this freaking bum. This freaking bum wanted to use our thing against us. He wanted to. We've been here. We won a championship, and now you're sitting here. You're gonna mock us? Yeah. Okay. Well, here we are. Go ahead and hold that. Hold that. He said, "Hold that." I love that. That was a great line. Go ahead, hold that. But yeah, Golden State, man. It's hard to not just buy in at this point. I mean, if they repeat next year, I will not be surprised. Mm-hmm. If you have the 3 of them, like you said, and like I said, Jordan Poole and fucking Andrew Wiggins aren't going anywhere. So they're bringing the same team back.
And they're getting James Wiseman back. Yeah, as I say, should get their number 1
played really well last year.
Yeah.
Man.
And Steve Kerr has got to be started. I mean,
I don't know. Just like, okay, the same way with soccer and the same way with basketball, I feel like in basketball too, like they come up with schemes, and I am not doubting at all that Steve Kerr's scheme is what's worked, but you gotta have the guys.
Well, it's
you
also
gotta have the guys.
I think at this level, it's more managing the egos and the players to get them to play together.
Yes,
than it is putting them in the
part
right
of what the coaching
spots.
is. Yeah,
because you have your assistants to put them in the right spots and figure out the game
I could put
plans,
Steve Kerr as the coach of the Magic right now.
But well, okay, so would Steven Jackson have done the same thing that Steve Kerr did?
Steven Jackson,
Mark Jackson.
I don't know. It's a good question.
Because he was their coach, and
maybe he wouldn't have implemented
took them to a
this
certain
style
level, and then they fired him even after he was making the playoffs.
Yeah,
and then Steve Kerr took over.
It's a good question. It's a good question. I think in football, American football,
but now you do need the guys, right? Because when his guys were hurt, they weren't winning.
You got to have the guys. You can set up whatever system that you want, but I mean, even in winning time, when I'm watching winning time, it's like, yeah, you came up with this fast pace. We just move. You also got Magic Johnson to be your point
once
guard.
You started giving him the ball and letting him fucking distribute it, and realizing
if you didn't have Magic Johnson as your fucking point guard, I don't know if that offense works the same way. You could put Steve Kerr and implement his system into a lot of shitty teams. The Rockets, I don't know if they necessarily work just because we bring Steve Kerr on as a coach.
Right. And
but
I agree with
that
you
being
there.
said,
right.
Obviously, you have to put him in that upper echelon of coaches. Have to, because of all the championships that he's won and because of what he's done. Yeah. And like you said, managing a lot of egos. Not a few egos. He's managed a lot of egos. Maybe more than Phil did.
Well, look at how they carry themselves. Yeah. Maybe it's just those three guys just happen to have the right personalities to get along. I think some of it's got to be.
I think Steph is a big part of it. You know, we talked about his numbers earlier, but he's so otherworldly good that it kind of gives the other, like Draymond doesn't even really have to worry about offense.
Oh, no.
Because the other two can score at will. And so because of that, I think it gives them all a freedom. I don't know if Klay Thompson would have been this by himself. I don't know if Draymond Green would have been this by himself. I kind of have to assume that this is what Steph is just so good at shooting. I have to assume this is what he would have been anywhere. But They needed each other, and they're a perfect tandem. The three of them together, they're going to go down as an all-time. I've already said to me that with Kevin Durant, that is the greatest team ever. I don't think anybody beats it. I think the late '90s Bulls and the Shaq Kobe Lakers were probably your best bet. And maybe some LeBron Heat. Maybe the Ray Allen, LeBron Heat group, but they would struggle too because you're gonna ask Chris Bosh to probably guard Kevin Durant, and you're gonna have to have LeBron and Wade and Dwayne Wade was not the greatest on-ball defender. He probably would have got beat a lot by. I mean, everybody gets beat by these two guys. Let's not play like there's somebody that shut them down. They did even Cleveland versus Golden State when Cleveland came back and won. It was because they couldn't stop. They couldn't answer LeBron and Kyrie every time going down and scoring. They were just going tit for tat with them, and they eventually just got beat. All right. We have talked about basketball, and I wrote 100 football players down on this board. I was a beautiful mind last night. And
this is yours, or did you just?
This is ESPN.
Okay,
straight off of ESPN.
Okay.
Yeah, because no way in God's green earth would I put Christian McCaffrey at number fucking 3.
That's true.
Are you kidding me?
And people were taking
kidding
in
me?
The first draft that I did. I got Cooper Kupp at 4.
Oh my God.
And it was
think
Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, and Derrick Henry. I think went 1, 2, 3.
I think. Now I get it with Derrick Henry, but
I can see the argument, but
I'm not going to do it.
Not for Christian
because
McCaffrey.
I'm not going to draft Derrick Henry no matter where I am because I believe that we are in the used car. Things are going to. I don't want to say this to. I don't want. I'll knock on wood. I don't want to hurt anyone. pretty sure Derrick Henry's going to get hurt and miss games next year. Pretty sure that's going to happen.
Guaranteed Christian McCaffrey is.
Guaranteed. Actually, I can guarantee you he misses at least 10 games.
You're gonna
That's his average. If you all his seasons together, I'd say he probably misses about 12 games a year on an average. I think Cooper Kupp's one. I mean, I get it with Jonathan Taylor.
I think I'd still take Jonathan Taylor, but I would take either one of the two.
I do not deny Jonathan Taylor. I know he will be probably the best running back next year.
And their offense should be better.
Yep. And I like Austin Eckler too, though. I think that if you're lower and somebody is dumb and goes Christian McCaffrey, and let's say you're at 6 or 7 and that falls to you, don't be upset, because I think Austin Eckler's going to have a great year too. So after that, the running backs for me get real dicey. It gets real dicey. I actually like Joe Mixon. They have him down at 16. I like him over Dalvin Cook. I like him over. Let me tell you why I don't like DeAndre Swift and I don't like Najee Harris. And I know Najee's my guy. Bad offenses. Bad teams. Yep. I can't draft Breece Hall because I don't know what the Jets are going to be. I do think the Jets will be better, and I think he will be a huge component. And the only running it, well, they do have Michael Carter as well, so you can't say the only running back they have.
I did take him in that mock draft, but I think I took him as my 5th round pick.
Yeah.
And so... And I took my first 3 picks were receivers. And so then I'm like, okay, I got to get a couple of running backs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't like that, though, because I don't like taking those guys that I don't know what they're going to be.
This is my year of believing in the wide receiver. And I'm going to believe in it so hard that I will sacrifice all of these running backs that are on this left side if I have to. Uh-huh. If I have to do Travis Etienne Jr. and Miles Sanders and Elijah Mitchell...
Cordero Patterson's been falling. You know what, Patterson?
The Falcons are going to be so bad.
He's their best weapon.
But they will be so
I can see
bad.
Marcus Mariota dumping it off to him.
Also, here's the thing about Cordell Patterson. We don't realize it because he just had this emergence, but he's not a spring chicken.
I know.
So the used car...
I realize it because I've had him on my team for a long time.
The used car thing is...
Yeah, but I got him maybe in play. Get him way down there.
You can. And if you believe in it, that's fine.
I'm just talking about where I can fill in these running back positions with guys that I'm comfortable with if I got... I mean, I had Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, and DJ Moore or something.
Here's where I'm at.
Or Jerry Jeudy.
If I'm presented with Cordell Patterson or Devin Singletary... I think I might go Devin Singletary because he's going to be on a better offense.
Yeah, but... Okay, if the Bills fucking run the ball like they figured out at the end of the season that they need to do...
Which they won't always do.
But if they fucking do what they did the first 12 weeks, no.
But Devin Singletary ended up being not a bad fantasy running back. You just have to wait it out.
Well,
you have to wait it out.
Yeah,
and my hope is that, listen, I'm not down. If I do what I'm talking about, where I wait and I don't draft running backs and I draft all wide receivers, my hope is that these 3 wide receivers that are all going to be number ones that I draft will hopefully be killing it for me in the early part of the season. And my running backs, yes, they won't score a ton, but hopefully I'll have Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, and A.J. Brown, and I'll have these 3 killers. I think Mike Evans, just because we don't know when Chris Godwin is initially going to be coming back, but I think Mike Evans is going to be no Gronk, no real tight end for him to dump off to. He already loves Mike Evans.
Monster.
Yeah, it's going to be a touchdown monster. I really think so. I don't mind Leonard Fournette either. I didn't bring him up. I didn't put the stars are the ones that I think are intriguing. That's where I put stars next to. They're the ones that obviously I don't want to say I'm gunning for because I think it's going to be hard to get all of them. But I think that Jamar Chase to me has the biggest. How's this going to get worse? How are you telling me?
I took him over in the second one that I did. I took Jamar Chase 4th.
Now, Justin Jefferson has been absolutely dominant over his first 2 years in the NFL.
So here's another thing about him, though. I was listening to some guys today, and they were actually the whole theme or the title of the podcast was should you target guys on good offenses? And the consensus was yes, but apparently now Minnesota has a new head coach, which is way more offensive minded than Zimmerman. So the theory is that maybe Zimmerman's defensive and old school thinking was holding this offense back.
Well, but we even talked about last year. We talked about with the Minnesota Vikings. They were losing games because their defense was giving up late touchdowns and they were giving up 30+ points a game. The offense was still scoring. Justin Jefferson was scoring. Dalvin Cook would have big games. Like the offense, Kirk Cousins actually was still an okay fantasy quarterback, but their defense gave up games, and they just ended up with a bad. I think. And what did they end? I mean, they ended up with.
They were almost in the playoffs. I believe
seven wins, something like that.
They were because the NFC was so shitty. So at least on the bottom end.
Let's say that the top 5 go Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Jamar Chase, and then you're sitting there at 6. I don't hate it at all. I don't think that. Yes, I don't think the Minnesota Vikings are a great team, and it's maybe a bad offense, but Justin Jefferson is not. Is not going to do poorly.
I mean, my top 4 picks would be Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, and Justin Jefferson.
Yes, I agree. And Austin Eckler after that. Christian McCaffrey doesn't even make my top fucking 30, bro.
Oh, I'm not even gonna.
I wouldn't even want him.
It's kind of like Saquon. If Saquon's sitting there, are you taking him?
No.
Why
I'm not
would
drafting
you
Zeke. I'm not drafting Saquon. I'm not drafting these guys that have been hurt. I'll tell you who else I'm not. And people are high on it. I don't really get it. Is David Montgomery. I'm not saying that the Bears shouldn't be better.
Talking about a shitty offense,
but they're going to be a shitty offense. They're going to lose. They're going to lose games. Badly.
Honestly, I would probably some guys maybe to like. I think J.K. Dobbins and Josh Jacobs would be preferable to.
I can't do Josh Jacobs again.
Cam Akers though seems to be falling, and the running back for the Rams is. I mean, Henderson did pretty good last year.
But they still have Henderson.
Yeah, but
they'll probably do a committee.
But they want him to be their guy.
I agree. I hear you. And the Cam Akers and I'm
talking about he fell to me in my 4th round.
And like some of these other guys, James Conner. James Conner will be on an Arizona team, which will have a good offense. They will score again. Javonte Williams, who will maybe take the job from Melvin Gordon. I don't really know.
You would think.
And that's what makes me backpedal on him. It makes me not want to do it. And you got to assume they're going to throw the ball a little bit more. They got Russell Wilson to throw the ball a little bit more. But they should have a better
offense. They should have a better offense. So I'm super intrigued, though, about Sutton and Judy. Because especially since they're way over there. One of them's going to be way better.
Yeah. I think Jerry Jeudy is maybe above for me. I do too. I want that more than Sutton.
The only reason for me is that because Sutton also, although he's always had a shitty fucking quarterback,
and he's sometimes put together some interesting fantasy years.
Yeah,
I think we might be kicking ourselves if we watch Sutton just go the fuck off, and it's like, oh man, we kind of knew that this would happen because, well,
so I think Sutton will be more the DK Metcalf,
but
and Jerry Jeudy's going to be the Tyler Lockett.
Isn't the Sutton the deep route?
So I'm thinking Jerry Jeudy's going to get more. I think Jerry Jeudy's going to get more targets.
Either way, I'm not mad at it. If you get either one of them, I feel like you're like, yes.
But yeah, I do. I would do
one
both of them.
Yeah, I would do both of them.
Asley, you're like 4th receiver, too.
Hell yeah. Some of the other ones up there at the top that I starred, Tyreek Hill. There are people that are like, oh, yeah, but it's Tua. It's like, look, this guy doesn't need an 80-yard bomb every time.
Well, he can do both.
Sometimes you just need to throw it to him 10-yard slant.
But that's what they did this last year, right?
Yeah.
Because they were, at first it was Tyreek, like fucking 50-yard bombs to the house. And then everybody adjusted to it. So then they started throwing in the short route. And they also have Waddle. What the fuck?
I was just about to say. Fucking cover? I was just about to say. Is there a faster tandem of 2 receivers?
Holy shit!
There's not 2 faster receivers on the same team.
I took Hill in the 2nd draft as my 2nd receiver.
I love it.
I took Chase and then Tyreek.
Oh my god! If that happens, you are in a good spot because both of those guys are going to score. Obviously, I like these other guys too. I like Deebo Samuel. I like Stephon Diggs. I think that a lot of this top little group, Devontae Adams, all of those guys are going to score. And if that's where you fall in the draft and you're like, oh, should I do Devontae Adams or not? Draft Devontae Adams.
The 10th pick or that last pick, I would love.
I don't like Dalvin Cook. I'm not going to do it.
But because I'm going to probably take 2 receivers.
Right, exactly.
I would like to get,
I'm not going to do Alvin Kamara because, like you said, I'm going receivers. I'm not going to probably end up with Joe Mixon because I'm going receivers.
The only running back I'm taking early is Jonathan Taylor. I'll take him number 1.
And that's if you're 1 or 2.
Only one.
And if you're 2... and the guy goes Cooper Kupp.
Then I'll take Jonathan Taylor.
And then you're like, okay, well, I got to go Jonathan Taylor. Right. Although, I don't know. Honestly, if I'm 2, somebody goes Cooper Kupp, I'm taking Jamar Chase. Because I fucking know what's going to happen.
See, there's some guys over here receiving-wise that I really like. On the right side.
On the right side, for sure. Now, let's not leave out A.J. Brown on this. I just think A.J. Brown... in this team that has Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor and a lot of good, Dallas Goedert's a good tight end, Miles Sanders is a good running back. I have the Eagles winning that division. I have Jalen Hurts taking them to a different level. I have A.J. Brown being a big part of that, and I think he's got something to prove. I like it a lot. I like
A.J. Brown.
I think I'm going to reach for it maybe earlier than I should, but we'll see. We'll see where it happens.
Pittman Jr. I like.
Nick Chubb is another one too. Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins. I paused with Nick Chubb because we don't know what the Browns are.
Well, and I also had Chubb last year, and him because it's absolutely a tandem with him and Hunt. Like it just wasn't. He doesn't catch any passes.
That's a good point. J.K. Dobbins missed all of last year, and that
he's intriguing to me because they want him to be. They want him to be the number 1. He's supposed to be very talented.
Him to help Lamar. He's got to be a more. Lamar they can't just run healthy. With Lamar. Yeah, so I like that too. Michael Pittman Jr. With Matt Ryan. Yeah. I believe in the Colts. I think the Colts, as soon as they traded for Matt Ryan, in my opinion, they won our division. It will be a tight battle with Tennessee, obviously, and us and the Houston Texans. No. Houston Texans, you better lose every game. I want that Bryce Young. I want Bryce Young from Alabama. That's who I want as my quarterback. Let Davis Mills rot his career away, and I'm sorry, Davis. But, yeah, Michael Pittman Jr. I also starred Josh Allen. I kind of smell an MVP year. I smell a big season from Josh Allen. They have done a lot to improve their already good team. They will dominate that division, in my opinion. I think that they will beat the Patriots easily, and I think the Dolphins will be better, and the Jets will be better, but I think the Bills will have I think they'll probably be the number 1 seed. So I see a lot of front running. I see a lot of Josh Allen just racking it up the scores. And if I'm doing a 2-quarterback league, which it looks like mine is going to be a 2-quarterback league, and I'm the number 1 pick, I'm picking Josh Allen because it's that important. It's that important to me to not miss out on the top-tier quarterback in the 2-quarterback. If you're doing 1 quarterback, fuck no. I mean, I honestly won't even do it till like the 10th round. Yeah. I don't even give a fuck. It can be Tua can be my fucking quarterback because it doesn't matter. It's a wash at that point. But in a 2-quarterback league, I want Josh Allen to be my number 1, and then I want to sneak in a Trey Lance or a
Matt Stafford's still dropping down
Matt Stafford.
there.
I wouldn't be mad. Kirk Cousins. I think he might fuck around. Derek Carr might fuck around and be okay. Derek Carr's gonna have a better year.
Honestly, even Russell Wilson was falling pretty far.
Yeah, I would be shocked because if I draft Josh Allen number 1. I've got to make up for it after that. I probably can't draft another quarterback for a while. I've got to go pretty hard.
No, if you go Frank's fucking, you just take.
But that's if I'm 10. That's if I'm 10. If I'm
quarterback.
I'm 10 and nobody does a quarterback, everyone's just playing it safe.
Because then you'll have this frenzy on, and you will create a frenzy on quarterbacks, and then you end up getting your shit. If that's what happens, I'm going
Josh Allen, Tom Brady, and I'm killing everybody. I'm killing everybody. It's also disrespectful where they put Tom Brady on this list. It's like they didn't see what happened last year, but it's okay. We'll get to that. DK Metcalf, I want no part of because they're going to be part of a bad team that cannot. Same thing with a lot of the Lions. That St. Brown, I know he did well, but I just can't trust in the Lions. I can't trust in the Bears. I can't trust in the Falcons. These are some teams that I'm just trying to steer clear of. We talked about Jerry Jeudy. Travis Etienne Jr., he was a guy that I was high on last year. I think the Jaguars are better. I don't know how much better, but I think that they do probably double their win total. I think the Jaguars did a lot in this offseason. They went out and
that's
got
going to depend on what's his name.
Well, here's what Rich Eisen always says. Here's what Rich Eisen always says, and it's hilarious. You know what they have going for them? The number one thing that the Jaguars have going for them, that Urban Meyer's not their coach. and the number one thing, not Urban Meyer, because the fact, and Doug Peterson's a good coach. I mean, he won a Super Bowl, so I think that's a big. I'm high on Travis Etienne Jr., but maybe nothing else on the Jaguars. He's maybe the only thing that I would be okay
Christian
with.
Kirk.
Yeah, but I'm scared for when that I feel like some people are going to draft him higher because obviously
if you can get him.
If I can get him late, like I'm going to have.
Well, where they got him ranked, would you take him in the 9th round?
No, because I'm going to be on. I'm going to have to make up for the lack of running backs that I'm going to do early because I know that later on, the thing is like, I'm going to go wide receiver heavy. And then if it is a 2-quarterback league, I'm going to have to draft quarterbacks in there as well. And I'm scared of the drop-off on the tight end. So all of that scares me way more than taking some of these later round running backs. I'd rather have a deficiency at my running back position because someone's going to show up that we don't even know.
Right. Always.
There's always going to be a running back that shows up.
You always can fill a running back in the fucking waiver wire because they get hurt so much.
Elijah Mitchell, as much as I like him, a San Francisco running back's going to get hurt, and another one's going to step in, and he's going to be money. And we don't know who it is. Damian Harris is going to go down, and there's going to be another
James Conner will go down, and somebody else will come in and get double-digit touchdowns.
Devin Singletary is going to go down, and James Cook from Georgia, the rookie from Georgia, is going to step in, and he's going to be good. So I'm just going to sacrifice my running back position for later on in the draft, which means guys like Christian Kirk or some of these lower round, DeAndre Hopkins probably. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to have to focus on running backs. But yeah, I love Darren Waller. I think that Devontae Adams opens up the middle of the field for him, and you get a dump off to Darren Waller. Obviously, he got hurt a little bit last year, and he didn't play all the games. But, with Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, and Darren Waller, I think that you're going to probably choose to double Devontae Adams, which frees up the other two, which means I'll take the white boy as well. Give me Hunter Renfrow.
He was my best pickup last. That was my best decision last year.
He went undrafted last year in most leagues. That will not happen this year. Guarantee it will not happen. He will definitely get drafted. I will draft him for sure. I'm a big fan. Some of the other ones, Miles Sanders is a little low on this for me. I know that he
went really high last year.
He's been a couple of years in the league, and I know that maybe people have just not seen the big, oh my God, he's Derrick Henry or he's Dalvin Cook or one of these numbers, but the Eagles are better this year.
Yes,
they're going to be way better.
And he'll be the starting running back.
I would be cool with that if that's what happens to me because I wait. Like if I wait and I'm Elijah Mitchell and Miles Sanders, or I'm Travis Etienne Jr. and Miles Sanders, I'm happy with that. Yeah. I'm not going to do Clyde Edwards-Helaire again, but just because of what he did to me last year. But I kind of think I might be wrong.
Still starting running back on the Chiefs.
And I think the Chiefs are going to have something to prove here. I think the Chiefs, I starred Juju on here.
Somebody's got to take them short routes.
I mean, I think that there are some really interesting ones on that Chiefs offense. McCole Hardman, who has always had to be the number 2 behind Tyreek Hill. He's not getting the go routes that Tyreek Hill's getting. Now this fast-ass McCole Hardman is going to get those routes. The rookie that they drafted, Sky Moore. Everyone's big on Sky Moore. I'm big on it too. His draft day stuff, he looks like a little mini Tyreek. He's fast as fuck. He's quick. He's a little 5'10", little fucking ball of muscle. Sky Moore is going to be another one that's going to be a sleeper late, but he's another good piece of that offense. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire, why wouldn't this be a bounce back year? That's kind of what happens to your rookie year, right? You come in, you get banged up, you don't realize the speed of the game, you don't realize how big these guys are. These are grown men.
This will be his 3rd year, though, right?
No, this is his 2nd because he was a rookie
last year.
Yeah, LSU rookie. Yeah, he was a rookie last year because I took rookies. I took Najee and I took Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I was like, I'm going rookie running backs. I'm going all young running backs. And look what it got me. Not this year, bitches. But Damien Harris, I guess so. I don't know about the Patriots.
The problem with it's the fucking Patriots running backs.
Yeah.
And Ramondre Stevenson, I think I would rather have him, and you can get him a few rounds
James
later.
White's still on that team. They're still going to use James White. So I mean, I don't know about the Patriots. I'm not probably going to aim at Damien Harris or Ramondre Stevenson. I'm going to probably try to steer clear.
Again, if you kind of end up with them and you're not.
Devontae Parker's an interesting one because he's one of the better receivers that they've gotten for this young. Like, he's definitely better than anything they gave to Cam Newton, but I don't know.
It's the Patriots. It's hard.
I'm backpedaling on the Patriots.
Hard.
I'm backpedaling on the Patriots.
They're a hard one to like.
I might draft their defense because I'm sure that'll be good. But Joe Burrow and Tom Brady.
Really, the biggest Patriot I think that I would. Jacoby Myers maybe, but
no.
That motherfucker. I know.
That motherfucker doesn't score touchdowns.
So the guy I actually thought the one that I was drafting was Hunter Henry, because you can get him like fucking.
Yeah, you can get him late, and that's probably good if you've like not really focused on the tight end position.
In these particular drafts, and again, if we're going to quarterbacks, it'll change my quarterback drafting strategy, but. Where I can take guys like Hawkinson and Hunter Henry back to back in the 10th and 11th round, as opposed to trying to get Kittle or Waller or Kelsey or somebody.
Kyle Pitts, I can't draft a Falcon.
No, the only Falcon I think I would even consider is Patterson,
and I'm just worried about that too because
he's gonna get the ball. They're gonna make
no shit because Marcus Mariota is their quarterback.
Right,
it's unbelievable. They're gonna be the worst team I think by far. I don't know if they win a game, to be honest with you.
Seattle,
yeah, but I think Seattle could sneak out a win. I don't know if Atlanta sneaks out a win. I don't know who Atlanta beats. I think I could talk myself into every team beating them. Yeah, but the Panthers could easily beat them, and they play them twice. But maybe they split. Maybe there you go. There's one win for them.
And Seattle. Are they going to play Seattle?
I think Seattle beats Atlanta. That's a game of who gives a fuck, huh? Yeah. Joe Burrow though and Tom Brady. It is unbelievable to me that they are where they're at on this list.
Yeah, I drafted Burrow in one of them.
Tom Brady had the second best fantasy year last year, and Josh Allen caught fire at the end of the year and passed him about week 15. But Tom Brady led the quarterbacks in fantasy football points last year. What has shown you that this man will not do the same thing every single year?
He's old, Josh.
Oh, yeah.
He retired.
Yeah.
He's basically Brett Favre now.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and Brett Favre, when he came back for the Vikings, he was fucking great.
That's true.
So sleep on him all you want. I take Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers all day.
Oh yeah.
Who the fuck is Aaron Rodgers throwing to in Green Bay?
I don't want Aaron Rodgers.
No, I don't want any Packers.
Like the plague.
I don't want any Packers. I think I'm avoiding Aaron Jones simply because I don't know what fantasy-wise. I think the Packers, because of their division, I think they still end up winning that division. It's not as dominant as it was last year, though. They're not a number one seed. They're not a number one seed next year. The Rams or the Buccaneers will be a number one seed in the NFC next year, and it won't be the Packers. And the Packers will struggle. I guarantee it. He doesn't have Devontae Adams. He has Allen Lazard, Sammy Watkins, and Randall Cobb. Those are his receivers. That's bad. That's really bad.
Get Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
You use him in the first 2 games. He'll be awesome. Yeah. Because he's going to be awesome in the first 2 games before he gets fucking hurt. Well, they drafted
a rookie, something Watson, Christian Watson or something like that. And he will obviously have to, because they don't have any fucking receivers, he will obviously get some balls thrown to him. But I'm steering clear of the Packers.
I want no part of Aaron Rodgers.
I don't even want A.J. Dillon, even though I think that's an interesting one. One of the ones lower down there that I really am high on, and especially because I'm gonna have to do some running back magic, is Tony Pollard. Listen, Ezekiel Elliott gets hurt all the time. Is Ezekiel Elliott going to get hurt this year? I'd say there's a pretty good chance he's going to get hurt.
Probably.
And even if he doesn't get hurt,
He's gonna suck.
Even if he doesn't get hurt, they use Tony Pollard a lot. They throw to him. Fantasy-wise, Tony Pollard is money. And usually he goes undrafted because everyone's like, oh, it's Ezekiel Elliott team. But usually he goes undrafted. And then I think he might be a hidden gem. I think he's something that I'm definitely going to gun for is Tony Pollard. And then, like you said, Matt Stafford has fallen. I am totally cool with Matt Stafford being my running back, being my quarterback in a one quarterback
If you
league.
think Cooper Kupp's the number one fucking receiver, I
Who's throwing him
don't
the
see
fucking
why
ball?
you wouldn't.
He's
want
throwing
Matt
that many
Stafford.
touchdowns. All the touchdowns from Cooper Kupp's going to get from him.
He was
Yeah.
top 10 last year, wasn't he? For sure.
I have him ahead of Aaron Rodgers. I have him ahead of Lamar Jackson. I think the reason that they put Lamar Jackson where he's at, as far as quarterbacks go, is because they're thinking of the rushing touchdowns. But I got to tell you, I'm still not high on the Ravens. They got rid of Marquise Brown, so now they're just Rashawn Bateman, and that's it. They don't have other receivers. They don't have anybody else. So they're going to be Mark Andrews and this Rashawn Bateman guy, and he's got nobody to throw to. I don't really know what they've done defensively. I can't really name a big defensive standout that the Ravens have anymore. I'm not big on it. The Bengals are going to run away with that division. I'm calling it right now. And the only thing that can threaten it is if Deshaun Watson plays. If Deshaun plays, then the Browns are obviously going to be better, but I won't deny that the Ravens will string out some wins because of who they are. The Ravens always do. Even last year, I hated on them.
Before Jackson got hurt last year, I think they were in first place, weren't they?
I hated on them going into last year, and it was for the reason that I said Lamar Jackson's not going to be there because you can't survive playing the way. You know who else can't survive playing this way? And it kind of goes against the MVP season that I talked about, but Josh Allen. Josh Allen can't run the ball.
No, and that's why
20 times
so
a game.
at the end of the season, though, they started giving it to Singletary.
Yep.
Instead of
But this James Cook pickup from Georgia is a huge. Now they can add that in with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. So now they
just need to develop a better running game. It can't just be Josh Allen.
But I think they did. I mean, they're going to be Gabriel Davis is going to come back and have a much better year. Who else did they get? They got another receiver that's really good. That I was like, oh shit, he's on the Bills.
They picked him up.
I can't think of it. But yeah.
We talked about this already.
The Bills are going to be a very good team. I think they're the number one seed in the AFC next year, and I think the Rams tentatively will be the number one seed in the. So I'm going for good teams. And I'm going for good offenses, and I'm going to stay away from things like what happened to me last year where I drafted 2 Steelers, and I think that's the other big thing too. I'm going to try my best to not draft 2 players, two starters
from the same
They shouldn't
team.
be 2 of my. You can get guys later, like let's say you get Travis Kelce, and then way later down the road you get Sky Moore. I'm cool with that, but you shouldn't have
Jamison Crowder and
Jamison
Gabriel
Crowder. Ooh, that's nasty. Because Jamison Crowder's been on bad teams, and he's still put up fantasy numbers.
Especially he gets catches.
It's been an hour and 20 minutes here.
Shit, have we really?
We've been away for weeks here, so we couldn't stop. But yeah, we're gonna get into more fantasy football because that's what's coming up, and we are in the dog days of sports here, so there's not a lot
I've
going
been watching
on.
baseball.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
Hey,
Astros,
did you see
7
that?
in a row, 2 walk-offs.
2 walk-offs,
in a row.
baby. Man,
I actually watched them, but
why are you pitching to Jordan? In this situation, why are you pitching to Jordan? I loved it. And we're watching it live at work, and he throws the first 2 pitches outside, and I was like, yeah, that's smart. That's a good idea, because if you bring that ball in just a little bit, my man's gonna smash in. He hung a slider right over the middle.
He crushed that fucking
Crushed it.
Dude, the fucking Pena
how about
on the
Pena,
day
though?
before, 4 for 4 or 4 for 5 with 2 home runs, including a walk-off. Now you know why we let Correa go.
Has there ever been a situation where somebody has let somebody go? I mean, I don't know baseball that well enough to know this answer, but like where you had a rookie waiting in the wings that was a carbon copy.
Right.
Defensively the same. Even size-wise, he's even a taller
big,
shortstop as well. He hits for power. He's a right away, just like Carlos Correa. As Carlos Correa's rookie year was ready to go, this guy, his rookie year is ready to go. It's unbelievable.
I'm trying to think, because I think there was.
I mean, I'm sure there was, but I don't know. But for us to just not miss a beat, for us to lose, arguably the core of our, he was at the core of our group, at least of the infield. For us to just, and oh, by the way, Alex Bregman hasn't played very well. Yuli Gurriel hasn't played very well. And the rest of the guys are doing okay, but Michael Brantley's now on the IL and hasn't been playing. And we're still 7 in a row, kicking ass.
And our pitching, it's our pitching stuff.
Our pitching's doing great.
Like we have the number one bullpen in the bigs.
I got to tell you, there's guys I still don't
trust.
trust.
And our fucking starters have been crushing.
I know that the numbers go against what I'm saying. Stanek,
you don't like Stanek.
I don't like Stanek.
Stanek is like one of the best relievers in MLB right now.
I don't like Stanek because you're 100-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's great.
That's Chapman.
And when you get to the playoffs, these good hitting teams, they know that's what you're going to do, and so they can locate it a little bit better than some of these teams that you're beating up on right now.
Maton's one I'm a little worried about.
Yeah, and I don't like Maton that much either. I'm more into the idea of Odorizzi when McCullers comes back becoming a more long relief.
If Lance comes back and he's in,
if McCullers comes back and he's good,
because then we got our starters are badass.
And man, originally I thought, well, Christian Javier needs to be that long relief position and not a starter. And then he pitches a no-no.
No, against the best hitting team in the fucking...
I mean, okay, well, if you pitch a no-no against the Yankees...
But your top four then would still be Verlander, McCullers,
Fromber
and Luis.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if McCullers gets that right away. Right now, for me, obviously, it's Verlander, Fromber, Luis Garcia, and Christian Javier. Just so from the way they've been playing, you can't deny that. Right. And then Odorizzi's been getting that fifth start, which Odorizzi before, I mean, this was kind of a crazy thing to bring him back and be like, hey, get in there and start this game. But
he threw yesterday. He's the one that gave up the 5 runs.
Yeah, he gave up the 5 runs, which we didn't give a fuck about, did we? But yeah, that's what happened yesterday. And Odorizzi will come back around. I like Odorizzi coming out of the pen. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, I mean... The 4, if McCullers looks like McCullers, I'll put him in there in that 4, but he might be 5.
I mean, he was our best pitcher last year.
But if Christian Javier keeps playing like this, and the 2 young guys, Luis Garcia and Fromber, man,
they're just getting so good.
They're just getting so much better, and they're young as fuck.
Yeah.
Luis Garcia's like 24 years old,
and
we're just growing them and growing them and growing them. Like, man, we're gonna win the World Series. I'll tell you what it showed me against the Yankees too. We ain't scared of these motherfuckers. We outplayed them for most of that series. They could have swept them. We definitely could have swept them.
2 walk-offs.
Ryan Presley gave up a fucking terrible home run to Aaron Hicks that doesn't happen ever again.
And he also had walked 2 guys or something, didn't he?
First 2 to put them up,
to put the pressure on.
Yeah, to put Aaron Hicks up, and then the last game too, the other one that Aaron Judge hit the walk off on. I mean, that could have gone either way. And I kind of feel like, the bullshit putting a man on second, that really fucks you up. Because it, like, you would just walk Aaron Judge if you're in that. Well, then Stanton's right behind him. But I would rather see Stanton anyways. But, either way, we're not scared of the Yankees. The negative is the Yankees just saw, oh, shit, we might need to make a trade.
So
need some that means we got to make a trade. And we need to maybe find another outfielder.
Oh, getting Brantley back.
I know, but
Yuli needs to start
Myers, the rotation of Jake Myers and
but Jake Myers was playing really good last year.
I hope that lasts
until he got hurt.
He's got to hit.
That's what I'm saying. But he was playing pretty well last year.
If he keeps hitting, I'm 100% down with you. I love Jake Myers, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, listen, if there's an all-star fucking center fielder out on a bad team.
As long as you don't have to fucking pay too much for him.
See, but And I've also,
But I guess you are. We are.
I just saw this new thing.
We can win the World Series this year. It's a legitimate thing.
I just saw this thing too, where it's like, who gives a fuck about Jim Crane's money? Who cares?
Yeah, we don't.
I don't give a fuck. Spend your money, bro. Do you want to win or not? Like, fucking spend your. Do you think the Steinbrenners ever thought about it? You think they were ever like, you think we should give A-Rod this much money? Like, no, they were like, fuck it. Give them the money. Let's fucking win. The Dodgers don't give a fuck about money. The Mets don't give a fuck about money. Like, there are teams that just don't give a fuck about money in the baseball. And I feel like the Astros just need to get on board. We have a dynasty. We have a all-time great team. We've only won one World Series out of the 4 that we've been to. Let's try to win a couple or 3 that we went. 3 now?
If you count the one in 2000. So we lost to the Nationals.
And we lost to the...
And we lost to the Braves.
To the Braves. But we won
and
against...
we lost to the White Sox. But they weren't part of this.
Yeah,
dynasty.
I don't count that.
So this team's gone to 3 World Series.
3. So we won 1 out of 3 of this group. We deserve better than that. And we obviously are showing you that we are ready to win now. So,
and how many more years does Verlander have left, honestly?
You know what? That might also be the big dick move that we don't see coming because our pitching is so good. Go out there and get another ace.
Oh.
Go out there and just get another fucking badass starting pitcher. Because then what you do is you do make your bullpen unstoppable. Then if Christian Javier and Odorizzi are taking the place of Matone and some of these other guys like Abreu and Neris and stuff that I'm not crazy about, we're unbeatable. We're unbeatable because if our pitching is that good, if we have the Verlander and then fill in the blank with some other number, like some people are saying that Noah Syndergaard is pissed and he wants out of the Angels because the Angels. How do the Angels do this? I just don't get it. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that they just suck consistently.
They're kind of like the Mets.
All right, hour and a half. If you've stuck with us, we love you. If you haven't, fuck you.
We said bye.
And if you do love us, fuck you. We'll see you soon.